Well, welcome, Avery. It's good to see you again, and look forward to seeing you in September.
Thanks.
Great. So, you've had a number of roles before you actually got to the role that you're in now as the Vice President of Enterprise Accounts for Oracle Finance Division. How have those roles prepared you for some of the challenges that your organization is facing today?
It's been interesting, for I've been at Oracle about 15 years, and my first 5 or 6 years, Oracle thought it was a big company. But since that time, we've gone on to acquire something like over 80 different companies. I just saw another announcement today. And so we've grown from about a 40,000 person company to over 120,000 employees in the past 8 years. And I think my prior experience and living through Oracle has enabled me to watch a wide array of different types of companies that we've acquired try to be assimilated into the Oracle culture and see what types of organizations have been successful or what types of people have been successful in being able to slide into working in the Oracle environment versus others that haven't. And I think that's helped me look to hire people with the attributes who have been able to successfully join a company of our size and be successful. So,
well, thanks. And Oracle's always been known as a sales and marketing machine. What exactly does the roles of sales and marketing do to support that growth effort, and how does finance interact with that?
So Oracle, very much takes its leadership in direction and I'd say culture from the top, starting with Larry Ellison and Mark Hurd on the sales side. Mark runs sales globally, and his vision of the world is that a very focused sales organization versus a horizontally spread sales organization drives better results. So if you give a very focused individual a limited scope of responsibilities, and they will excel in that area as opposed to spreading them thin. In what that means is if you're a customer of Oracle's, you're going to have a dozen different salespeople calling on you. Each one focused on their specific expertise. And so what that's meant for my organization is that I've kept and argued that our organization should not be separated by products. And so in the role that we play, which is assisting sales in larger transactions, we're the only customer-focused organization in the field. So that if we're dealing with company ABC, they're going to have an acquisition strategy around Oracle as a whole. Oracle's going to have multiple sales strategies of how to sell into that account. And so our group tries to kind of bridge that gap and create a unified sales message with 7, 8, 9 different salespeople and one customer, and try to build a model to help the customer understand the best way to acquire Oracle's products and services. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I can elaborate if you
want. Yeah, so I would imagine that across that sales cycle, you end up seeing a lot of senior level or executive level buyers. What's your experience taught you about how you have to interact with them?
Yeah, at various points in the sales cycle, the senior executives do get involved. Sometimes they set direction and then step away. And then what often find happening at times is if you don't re-engage the senior executives, Oracle's operating under what they thought was a mandate from a senior executive on what the direction of the customer was looking to do. But somehow the lower level people that Oracle's engaging with never got the message. And so while we're driving what we thought was the solution that we had, alignment on with the executives, in the end, we find that we're stuck in procurement or not being selected as the vendor because we haven't been able to either help the customer align what we thought was the message to their organization, or lost track somewhere down the line of what the exact goal of the customer was. So that's been a problem at times. I can't say it happens all the time, but what I find from senior executives who I deal with on the customer side, they're a little bit frustrated by tactically focused salespeople trying to sell features and functions as opposed to tangibly aligning the solutions that we provide to what their goals are. And so with any sort of sales force that's a high-tech sales force like Oracle's, it's going to be like an 80-20 rule. 80% of the salespeople are going to be tactically focused. There's always the elite sales teams who can be more strategically focused and understand and map those issues. Oracle's got lots of resources trying to help our sales force in that area. But I think that oftentimes if you get in front of an executive, trying to focus on not what it is we're selling, but why it is they'd want to buy it is a big differentiator at times.
Okay, so you mentioned there's a lot of resources available to Oracle sales professionals. What are some of those resources that the sales professionals are finding to be most effective to help them be maximally effective at their job?
Well, I mean, with all the products that Oracle sells, there's certainly a role for a subject matter expert when it comes to a specific product within a certain industry. And I think customers just take that as a given, that we're going to have a resource. If you're selling into automotive, they're going to want to buy from someone who's implemented this solution in an automotive environment before. So Oracle has all sorts of resources which we bill or position as consultants. They're certainly employees of Oracle, but they're trying to build credibility because they arguably should be, certainly don't want to position products that won't work in a customer's environment. So they're trying to provide sort of an independent analytical or technological architecture sort of advice. We also have resources that focus on specific industries, sit on industry councils, try to sit on customers' directional boards as far as aligning where they're going with their infrastructure and what we're doing with our products. So there's an alignment between product development and the customer's infrastructure, what the direction they're looking to go. One of the gaps, when I joined Oracle that we didn't have, that we've tried to fill in my group is, one of my standard jokes is I've met maybe 3,000 Oracle salespeople, and I could count on one hand the number who were hired for their financial acumen. Their expertise in analyzing financial statements, or understanding it at least, or dialing in, understanding the direction our customers are going from a financial standpoint, and then aligning those to solutions that Oracle can help with our customers and try to get to where they want to be. That's not their expertise. Their expertise is more in building the relationships, understanding the products, understanding technology and architecture. So what we've tried to do in our group and in other groups within Oracle is become kind of like the all things finance, all things financial person to our sales force, a virtual member of that team, and help them call higher and more effectively.
Well, it's interesting you should bring that up, because at the Sales and Marketing Conference, you actually are leading and helping to co-lead that section called You Get Delegated to Who You Sound Like, building business and financial acumen. And that's obviously right in your sweet spot. How has your mastery of financial acumen allowed you to be effective and made a difference personally and professionally for you?
Yeah, it's been kind of a double-edged sword at times, in that you can have those types of skills And Oracle's the kind of place where if you have an idea and you don't share it, you're just going to get run over by like a steamroller. And so simply having the skills and not stepping up and worrying about what your job description is or whatever, just stepping up when you see an opportunity is really what it kind of takes, I think, to be successful here. You could be successful sitting and waiting for the phone to ring, to some degree. But if you really want to excel and move forward and help the company move forward, it's through stepping up in that way. So the challenge at times with the role is that setting the definition yourself versus letting somebody else set the definition for you. And so I try to use as broad a definition. When I met with a CIO of a $50 billion company last quarter, I was not introduced as Vice President Oracle Financing Division. I introduced myself as I'm a resource from our CFO's organization who gets engaged with key customers to help structure transactions and help them align how they'd like to see the product acquired and align it to their future budget cycles, or understand the various sales models that Oracle has available and design or structure what's the best solution for them. And so it's really trying to take that definition yourself and not letting your title kind of pigeonhole you.
Okay. So if I hear that, making the focus about your customers is a pretty key focus of how you hold those conversations. What would be the number one piece of advice you would give your peers coming to this session?
Coming into this session, I think some of the best advice I heard, I'm not sure if it was attributed to Lee Iacocca or whomever, but the quote that the best employee is one who doesn't worry about their job description. In a company the size of this one or where I was at previously, if I simply worried about this is what I was hired to do, my career would have not advanced beyond what I was hired to do. In a role in a company like this one where there are all sorts of relationships that can be built that can expand your sphere of influence, you really need to not worry about your specific job title and job definition versus becoming a virtual part of a team and doing whatever you can to be helpful and learning from that for the next opportunity.
Great. So what motivated you to join Corporate Visions at the Sales and Marketing Conference?
I think it's a good opportunity to hear what other people, I've been at Oracle for 15 years, so I haven't really been exposed to a lot of other cultures lately. And so, except when I try to deal with our customers, some of whom have more challenges than Oracle from my perspective, some of whom seem to be very well-run organizations. So anytime I can step outside of doing tactical, we all get caught up in doing tactical work and stop and think and not just ask, what am I doing, but why am I doing it? And then once you start to ask that, understand how best you can maybe do your job better.
Well, thanks very much.